It's been a brilliant day. Not much has happened in terms of downloads, although my ideas are building for the next images of the swimmer. Wait till you see. But that I got a comment on a recent video from a smart nurse. I apologise, I haven't got your name in front of me, but you asked me two questions. You made a statement, you said you believe that this is genius, and I agree. Okay? It is genius. I am not a genius. I am exhibiting genius when I am getting that information and translating it into a style, a concept that I have built intellectually, I believe. So I have constructed, this person here has constructed a concept that was so certain and solid in its construction that when I found pieces of information, they just fitted in. I go, oh, that goes there, yeah? And it begins to just build up a whole model. So that no piece of information I'm ever given can I not find a place for it. There's always a place. Test me, challenge me. Yeah? So maybe some I've already thought about, maybe some I haven't, but let's then work together to see where that bit of information fits in that I haven't thought about. But that after nearly 5 years of work, you just go, well, the Earth's the centre of the universe then, because if you built a model at the beginning that said, I'm going to assume the Earth's the centre of the universe, and I constructed a force-based model of Earth-Moon relationship that was a yin-yang. I said, well, that's the forces, that's the shape of the force that holds together the Earth and the Moon. And that's the model. And then everything since then has been, since finding Dr. Levy, who is a physicist, 1906, an engineer, 1915, opens the door, closes the door, dissertations never translated, never referenced, totally buried documents because it's key. It proves. Victor Levy's 1906 dissertation under Alexander von Brill and Max Planck proves that the Earth is the centre of the universe. It's one step away from him actually saying it in the 06 dissertation. And so the 15 dissertation, engineering, is just the gatekeeper, doors closed, engineers do as you're told, use the meter 4 using these coefficient tables and look no further. Don't ask where those coefficient tables came from. Just get on and use them and build your reinforced concrete and stretch it all over the entire fucking planet so that it stops expanding entirely, becomes completely corrupted, Satan rules, climate changes, you get destroyed. All that apocalyptic shit that some entities on this planet seem to want to invite so strongly. So there's the evidence for Earth as the centre of the universe, a beautiful model, a force-based model of spheres, a gobstopper layer of spheres, okay, where the outside of the sphere, of the cavitation, is the centre. So that the energy of the outside of the sphere has an interdimensional link from outside to centre. This is quantum entanglement. There's an interdimensional link between the two, so they're the same space in time, just separated in distance, but they exist in the same moment. They were created in the same moment. They are the same moment. And so that's the idea for the interdimensional link of quantum entanglement. So taking the outside of the sphere to the centre. And that the concept overall, if you like, is imagine an infinite ocean with no surface. Inside that infinite ocean, you're just in the ocean. There is no surface, okay? But you're in an ocean, you're just an observer, and you see a bubble. And you look at that bubble and you find actually it's massive. That it looks tiny from one side, but when you get to the bubble, you push yourself into the bubble and you get inside and you find the bubble is massive. Yeah. Because it's perception. Small to big, big to small. And so the surface of the infinite ocean exists at the centre of the cavitation. All the energy of the surface of the infinite ocean exists at the centre of the single cavitation, which is the universe. And the Earth is the centre, the seat point, the magnetic dipole of that mechanism. Rotates. So idea is of Earth centre still. Magnetic field. So the magnetic dipole is at the centre. There's rotation at the centre. Rotation gives magnetic field. So rotation equals a magnetic field within quantum. The magnetic field at Taurus, huge, has a duration of field, so that when the spindle points of the Taurus come back together again at the centre, imagine the two sides of the donut with the spindle at the center. When the south comes back, the north comes back to meet the south, it's not there. It's moved. It's there. And so that what happens is that, so it goes past it, but it can't go past it. There's a dimensional barrier between the two, between north and south. They literally exist in different states of time across the moment, defining the boundaries of time. And so they just hook around each other, forming that twin standing vortex shape time particle of pure force. Now that just locks solid, can't just spin round, but so the force starts to just turn. And that in that gobstopper layer, each layer has different braking kinetic forces, speeding up, slowing down, building up heat, letting heat go, doing work, making heat. Heat being lost is the work that is done, makes a sound. Sound entropy is to zero, to silence. So because you have the magnetic dipole now functioning at the center of the universe, that's the model. And then from that idea, after 5 years, I say certain, and I stand and I ask to be challenged on it now. Anyone challenge me, okay? So that's Earth center model. Entropy, brilliant. Entropy is, yes, disorder. So there's sort of 3 ways of looking at entropy. The way that science throws dust in your eyes is that they throw dust at you and they say, this dust is disordered, it will become more disordered. If you see patterns in it, don't worry. If you wait a little bit, there'll be disorder in the patterns that you see of the dust, okay? So that you're seeing the brown in the coffee cup. So the coffee cup is brown, you put cream in, you stir the cream, you say, oh, there's a pattern. You say, no, that's entropy is towards brown coffee cup. Okay? But there are 2 other types of entropy, sound and temperature, because that's mass entropy. Sound entropy is towards silence, and temperature entropy is towards cold. But because of the magnetic dipole mechanism at the center of the universe, and it's going around and doing work, it's doing work. So there's rotation and magnetic field doing work. So there's heat. And so that heat has an entropy. And that's therefore inside the time particle, there is an anistropy, a pulse, positive pulse of temperature increase because of that motion of acceleration of the sacred geometry. The sacred geometry of the 2 rings, the bending and tension, when you try and separate them, you find they're linked together through the golden ratio 1.618 and 0.618, 2 states, high and low energy state. And so there is a limit to the minimum size of an entropic zone of temperature. So how small is a zone of temperature does have a limit. You can't have a smaller limit than the time particle. And that sets the size of H-bind, the molecule of water that holds a molecule of water together at the center of the planet. So that force, the sphere, is represented throughout the entire universe in layers, fractured gobstopper layers of the surface of the flower of life and hexagons. So there's 2 fields, flower of life field, hexagon field, and they interchange between them, between spatial and temporal coherence. There is a balance point. It's our moment of consciousness, but at the moment it's in 2 motion. It's elastic. And so this is the other question I was asked about someone who talked about neuroplasticity, was where he was coming from, a medic guy. And I said, you need to see that as elastic plastic modulus. And he went, wow, that's a new way of thinking about it. And it's because the elastic is literally doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's no matter there. Yeah? The elastic, there's no matter there. It's pure thought that's created. It's the patterns that develop in the space of our heads, the kingdom of God, where the eye opens, that space where thoughts are, there's nothing there, it's empty. Right? But there's space for the motion to occur. Right? So you're setting the stage for motion to occur. If you're waiting for something to happen, it's just empty space. You have to choose positive, step into the center of the circle, and in the center of that wave, the thought wave, you put yourself as the hero in the center of your story, in your narrative. You own your narrative as the commander of your life. Step into the center with boldness, with courage, with pride, and you sing your heart for Christ from here, from the center of experience. And suddenly you find that's where you are, in the center of the whirlpool of the vortex. You've moved yourself through just thinking it, because thought is the power. That's why they try to hide this from you. You get it? So they'll kill, they'll murder millions. They don't care, right? The species that takes our energy sees us as lava. It doesn't give a fuck about us. It doesn't recognize empathy. It's entirely narcissistic. It will never recognize empathy. That's Satan. And let's find out who he is. I think it's going to be exciting. I think he's an insect. Insects are sapping us. Honestly, this world is brilliant. Because once you step into the story and you own it, you see that the science fiction world that we knew was coming, when I was a boy, we knew was coming, is happening. We're just not part of it yet. Because we haven't earned the place, haven't earned the right to be there. You just have to sing love in your heart right now, all of you who have seen this. Recognize neuroplasticity is the elastic plastic modulus in action. You are the elastic modulus. Just choose to be solid, to be real. Choose yourself to be real. And you find that you are. And it's bloody wonderful. Right? So join me here. Welcome to the future. Well, I think that's a really excellent wrap, friends. Let's meet tomorrow. Have some breakfast, sleep, think about what I just told you, the profound depths of change that it's going to bring to you. And look at me, I'm just an ordinary bloke. The point of this, the purpose of why I've been allowed to do this, I'm just an ordinary chap. Yeah, who just was too fucking clever by half, right? And wouldn't leave alone. Wouldn't leave alone when he was told, don't go over there. Yeah, hell, I wouldn't listen. Yeah, I wouldn't listen. So now we've got it. So, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.